15,000 people get the placebo, and we just waited. And because there are so many cases in the country now, that this went very, very fast. Last Wednesday, we announced that instead of having 53 cases for the first analysis, we actually ended up this morning having 95 cases. So the study is almost finished.
What about the refrigeration part of this? It needs to be freezing cold, and that gives a longer shelf life. Tell me about the refrigeration and how that will work with the distribution. Yes,
that's one of the other great news of this morning that actually we learned on Friday at the company, which is the vaccine has 6 months of shelf life in a regular freezer, minus 20 Celsius, like the freezer you have at home to store, your frozen food and your ice creams. Those freezers are widely available at pharmaceutical distribution centers because they are FDA-approved products that require minus 20 storage. So that's not a problem. The thing we're very excited is we used before to have data for 7 days for stability in a regular fridge. And now we have, as of this morning, 30 days of stability, meaning a month, where you can take the product out of a freezer, let's say in a big distribution center, like McKesson, who's going to do distribution for the US government. And then you put it in the fridge, regular fridge, like you store insulin at your local CVS or Walgreens or pharmacy or doctor. So that's a big, big change in terms of the usability of a product that we are very excited about.
So Stephane, tell me about the grades. It's actually a shot, right? This is an injection?
Yes, it's like a typical vaccine. You clean your arm with a bit of product to make sure you don't get contaminated. You inject the vaccine and you put a little Band-Aid and that's finished. You don't need any device. It's like when you get your flu shot, at the local CVS or Walgreens, it's going to be the same thing.
Fantastic. Sir, did you take it? Did you try it as well?
I have not tried it yet because as part of developing medicines, it is unethical for an employee of a company to be part of a study because, the thinking is that we might not report side effects. But as soon as I'm allowed to take it, I'll want the vaccine. So does my wife and my daughter, who is already 18 years of age. My younger one, who is 16, is kind of not happy that she cannot get the vaccine yet. She will have to wait for the summer.
That is so fantastic. So you're talking about 20 million doses or 10 million courses. This is 2 shots per course. Walk us through it.
Yes. So we're going to have 20 million doses by the end of the year. But if you think about it, you can give a prime dose, the first dose, to 20 million people. Because by the time they need their boost in January, we will have more vaccine made. And so they will get their boost from another batch of product that we will send to the US government.
This has the edge on the Pfizer news as well. I mean, of course, we want a nice competition in terms of having plenty of options here, but the refrigeration temperature for up to 30 days and room temperature once thawed for up to 12 hours, that's actually even more effective than what we heard from Pfizer last week. Is that right?
So our vaccine, I think, is very user-friendly now. Before, at 7 days, was a bit tight, but it was workable. Now with 30 days in a fridge, I think for the nurses and the doctors, it's going to make life much easier. And also, I think it's going to reduce wastage. One of the things I worry about is given we're not going to have enough vaccines in the first few months of the year because all of us are making as many as we can, but not enough for every American right away, is I worry about wasting. And so I think this is going to be a very important tool. So it's user-friendly for the nurse and doctors, and we reduce waste.
I love what you said in the release about safety. A couple of things to point out that we should is that while it's very small numbers, the secondary endpoint of severe cases is encouraging. You said all 11 occurring in the placebo group, and the safety looks relatively clean. Tell me about the safety of this drug as well.
Yes, of course. And the safety, obviously, with vaccine is really important because you give vaccine to healthy people. So this is really our #1 priority. And as you say, Maria, if you look at the data, and I had the chance yesterday when the independent NIH-led data safety monitoring board reviewed the data, and we were able to see the placebo data versus the data people getting the vaccine. And what you see is at the second dose, you have a bit of side effect locally, a bit of pain, a bit of redness for a day or two. It goes away by itself. And in terms of systemic side effects, some people have a bit of a headache, It's nice to note that the fever level is less than 2% of people get fever. It's actually 1.4%, so very, very low. And so it's like a typical vaccine. When you have a bit of side effects, they will self-resolve without even taking a medication. Like when you get a flu shot and you don't feel great, go to bed, get a glass of water or a cup of tea, and the next day you'll be fine. It's actually a good thing. My immunologist always remind me that having a bit of immune reaction is a good signal that your immune system is working because the vaccine is being activated.
Yeah, you want to know that. It's a nice reminder there, right? So talk to us about the manufacturing ramp up that you no doubt are going to have, Stephane. You said that you are going to be applying for emergency usage in the coming weeks. What does that mean? 2 weeks, 3 weeks? What's your timeline? And then walk us through the ramp up in manufacturing and distribution that you're expecting.
Yeah, so in the next few weeks, it's tough to really know precisely at this stage, Maria, just because we need to count cases in the study before we have a 151 case, so it's tough to be precise. And then what you want to ensure is that we have time to do good quality control check of all the data that we will submit to the FDA, because of course this is extremely important, and quality of a vaccine review process is fundamental for the public trust. And so we want to be careful to go fast, but not to rush or make mistakes, of course. So, and the FDA will review, and I expect in a few weeks we should be able to get approval.
Stephane, it's really fantastic news. Thank you so much, and a big thank you to all of your scientists and wonderful people working on this. Great to have you this morning, sir. Stephane Bancel with the incredible news from Moderna. We'll be right back.
Again, everyone, that was a segment from This Morning on Fox Business. We're taking a live look at the U.S. Capitol in our nation's capital. I want to let you know some news. We are hearing that President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are going to receive a briefing on the economy today in Wilmington, Delaware. And then shortly after that, the two will be delivering remarks on